I honestly, the role side of it, where it's like you're this and you have to do that. This is your role as a feminine person, and this is your role as a masculine person. I don't believe in that. I believe in just do what is needed at
just have my back.
I think if every man shows up as masculine, we have no choice but to be feminine.
I get that, but sometimes a man, it's called for a man to show his soft side too.
What's going on, everyone? We are back for another episode, actually part 2 of last week's episode of the Student to Life podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. We are here with these beautiful ladies, and we are going to continue on with the amazing conversation. If you guys didn't catch part 1, please go back and watch it, like it, subscribe, and tune into the conversation, because you guys don't want to miss that, okay? All right.
All right, so your question.
All right, so ladies, now I purposely chose entrepreneurs. And you fell right into it. Thank you guys. But I want to ask this question because it's a big topic. Being a woman in the entrepreneur field, have you found it to be a barrier of, or not really a barrier of, just have you found yourself, because being a boss, right? We kind of have to operate off of a masculine side. Like, we're in go mode, we're in, you can't tell me what to do, this is how it is, as far as business, right?
Okay.
Now, have you found being in this space as women in the entrepreneurial field and having to wear that cap at times, that it has somehow trickled into our personal life, our love life, or whatever it may be?
I think it can. I think it definitely can, and I think awareness is what takes you out of that. Just being aware of where you are, being aware of how you're being and how you really want to be in a relationship. You know, do you really want to be the masculine woman in a relationship? Do you want to be how you are in your business, the same in a relationship with a man, you know? So if not, awareness is going to help you to come out of that and to be able to switch it on and off where it needs to be. So.
See?
Okay, go ahead.
For me, I don't take my entrepreneurship home. I leave it at work. And when I come home, you're my man. But there are cases in which obviously the relationship might not work out or whatever. And I think sometimes men tend to forget that you already can do. And they see you just go like this, shoo, after the relationship ends, not realizing that I can do all of this on my own. I'm just allowing us to be so we can naturally grow together. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the struggle comes in, because whether he realizes or not, you know, a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, you can survive on your own. You really can. You can do a lot on your own. You don't want to. You want the support. You want that support. You want to feel that man there next to you. Because I'm not that kind of woman that says, I don't need a man and I can do this. I'm not one of those women.
Right.
I need a man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's always been my perception. But I never want a man to think that if you decide to screw up and walk away, then I'm going to just drown.
Right.
I'm never going to drown.
Okay.
And that's where the struggle is for them, because I've had exes that has felt like when they
Exit.
whip the lash that something's going to happen. I'm in South Africa. I'm in Thailand. I'm in Europe. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I need you to love me. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the struggle comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I believe that I've learned to be strong for myself and for the children, but I also know how to be soft. So, like her, I don't let the entrepreneurship get in the way. You know, I know how to be a boss. I know how to spoil myself, take myself out to eat if I needed to. I know how to say, call your job and let's go on a trip. You know what I mean? But I also know when to be his woman, to be soft. So I'm not selfish. Far from it. I know how to compromise and just be. Yeah.
I think that's that word right there that
Yeah.
we're looking for, that compromising word.
Yeah.
I think with the right man, it just automatically turns off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
He just brings you in that soft life.
That's for some people.
Some people. There's some women I've learned this recently. It's just maybe in the last 5 years. I've learned what men are experiencing, and I'm shocked
Yeah.
because I didn't know. I saw things through the lens of my own eyes prior to that, and I just thought, they're tripping. Women are like this because I use myself as a, for that, and
That's
I
one of the
realized
biggest problems that we have in society is you only see things in your
In one
own
lens.
circle. 'Cause
Yeah.
I tell a lot of women and men, there's good people out there.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, there's no good men or no good women. You're in the same circle, meeting the same people, doing the same things.
Yeah.
I mean, you're never gonna be in that space. I can't comment much on this topic because I'm on the other end of that. I would love for my woman to come and be a woman after her daily activities. Just allow me to be a man. Let me take over and do certain things.
If she
But
listen to this podcast,
she who? That's the question.
Oh, okay, well.
But Shan, the next question is you again because
Okay.
you
So, how would you ladies describe femininity? And the reason I ask this because I do have a client. Shout out to Miss April Mason. That she's out of Atlanta, and she talks about she is the feminine CEO. So basically, she trademarked that, and she teaches women how to embrace their soft side. So, how would you guys describe femininity, just real quick in a few words? Because one thing I can say is her description is basically femininity is Mother Nature.
Mother
right?
Nature.
Mother Nature.
Okay.
Yeah, we nurture. We help build and grow. We have the babies. We do these things. We keep a balance. Earth, Mother Nature has that balance. Is we rain, we storm, we all these things. So from her aspect,
my perception for me, it has changed over the years, right? Because like he said earlier about how the family is not set up the way it used to be, women are now forced to become independent. So while you have some that rave that they're independent, there's some that are just independent because they just have to be independent, right? And that kind of changes how you operate in society. So with that happening, femininity starts to shift, right? Because now you have way more educated women, especially black women, in society than before. You have women making way more money than their counterparts than before. You know what I mean? Even though we're still making 83 cents to $1 of what men make. You get what I'm saying? We're buying more houses than men. We own more property than men in the entire United States. So when that happens, I think in reverse, men start to feel some kind of way if they're with a partner that's like that. And so you don't get to fall into your femininity.
It's jealousy.
And it affects that, you know what I mean? Because we still want to be feminine.
It's not only jealousy, it's intimidating sometimes.
It's intimidating.
Intimidating,
right?
yeah.
But the problematic part about it is that
It's intimidating.
you have women that try to intimidate and they walk with their accomplishments as a badge of honor. And then you have some that are I just happen to be someone that did well. And the man's still intimidated. And you're like, what the hell?
Like last week, my guy Chris talked about it last week where he was like, a lot of men just don't like when their female counterpart makes more.
It's sad. What are you supposed to do?
Why is that?
Be an
I don't care,
underachiever?
to be
You want to
honest.
be an underachiever?
Nah, it's more like an
you
ego thing. Like I said, speaking from a man's perspective.
I think-
Because he wants to take control. Like,
That's a part of it, and he wants to feel like I'm able to do without worrying about how you would feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're used to going to Thailand, and you're used to going to all these places, and I can only take you to the Bahamas. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
okay.
But that's
but
fine.
that's the thing. A lot of women are not okay with that.
Well, if she's okay with spending time with him, it's going to be okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
that's where the problem comes into play, where it's like, do I do this, or do I try to live up to whatever standards
No,
that she
don't be
has?
you.
That's the problem that a lot of men have, and also it's control. I want to be able to be in control. Because a lot of women,
Yes.
like Chris said last week, throw it around like, I got my own, you can't tell me what to do type of attitude.
But you have to understand too, we also encounter men that are also very controlling. And we have to make a stand to let them know that we don't need to, like, you know how the topic came up that a lot of women are choosing to be single, right? And a lot of men voice their opinions on TikTok that women are going to die alone with cats and all this different stuff. But the reality is we're dealing with men that are trying to force this opinion on us that you're insufficient on your own, and but in times we have to operate on our own. We have to, because we have no choice, because we don't have a man in our vicinity that's going to take that role on. And what do? Just die?
I personally don't want to be strong.
Right.
I don't want to be
I don't want to be
strong.
strong.
Yeah.
No.
I was forced to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I was forced to be.
Especially
So,
with 2 children. Are you going to be
I was
weak
forced
with
to
2
be.
children?
Right.
You can't.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But I like I said, I can't answer the question for y'all. I'm just going to give my little input on what y'all say. Because this episode of the Student to Life podcast is sponsored by Vintage Florists and Events. For the Valentine's Day flowers, for your Mother's Day flowers, for your Christmas, your anniversary, whatever you need these flowers for, these teddy bears, whatever arrangements, you could hit up Vintage Florists and Events.
Yes.
The number to call to make orders, place orders, or for more info is 754-423-4673. I honestly, the role side of it, where it's like you're this and you have to do that. This is your role as a feminine person, or this is your role as a masculine person. I don't believe in that. I believe in just do what is needed at
just
the
have
end
my
of the
back.
moment.
I
Yeah.
think if every man shows up as masculine, we have no choice but to be feminine.
I get that, but sometimes a man, it's called for a man to show his soft side too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like knowing when to. That's the main thing.
But both can exist at the same time.
Yeah, but that's
You
what
can
I'm
still
saying.
Be the man of the house. and
Knowing
still
when
express
to
your
do that.
feelings when you're feeling
Knowing when to.
Right.
That is the key part. So I can't really say, you're feminine and you do this and this is what you're supposed to do. I can't really say
Yeah,
that part.
yeah.
But this part of it now, this question is.
It's sexy.
Why does it sound like it's about to go
This
deep?
question is going to
Why
be
does it sound
very
like
interesting.
It's ooh. Okay.
Interesting,
Let me take
I
a
would
sip.
say. Very interesting. So when dating, right? And nowadays I know it's a lot different, because when I was growing up, boy, we had to work super hard. But back in the day, if you want to have sex with a woman back in the day, you have to wait a while. Like you have to say nice things, maybe write love letters, and all these things. Nowadays it's a lot different. Nowadays the women are more aggressive sexually from experience. Women don't care no more. They want to do it, they're going to do it. They'll tell you that they want to do it. So what do you think is like a suitable time between when you start dating and leading up to that part where you're like, all right, it's okay now to drop my guards and we're going to have sex? Like, is there a time frame for you guys?
And to even talk about it. Too.
Yeah. I mean, talk about it is somewhere in the beginning, but where do you actually let your guards down?
I definitely don't talk about it on the first date though.
Not in the
You
first
see,
date.
that's why I said that, because I had a conversation, and I chose this question because I was having a conversation with a specific energy, and he was saying that, well, why when I bring up sex, women cringe?
Because
and I'm like,
I don't want to talk about it on the first date.
right, like you
Not
gotta,
even necessarily on a second date.
But it's on
there's
the first
so
date
much
they
to
talk
cover.
about it.
Some guys do. And
Nah,
it's
but I
an
think-
immediate disqualification.
What
It's a red
happened
flag.
is it's
Yeah.
different. Like I said, it's different now. Remember, back in the day, you're going on a first date and then you have to wait until the second date to have certain conversations. Now you're talking all day, every day, because you got a phone.
yeah.
Now, back in the day, you didn't have that. You're texting at work, you're talking after work, before. you're communicating. All these things that you would talk about on a date,
Yeah.
is some stuff you're talking about over the phone.
And then too, right? Before we let y'all answer, then too, because I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat, and Thea knows me like real deal. Sex is a big part of life for me. Like my sex life has to be great, right? So that's why I'm like, let's see how other women like. For me, it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it as soon as we start to talk, but if the topic comes up, I'm not gonna run away.
So you're a sexual person?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
None of my relationship has been defined.
Around that.
No, never.
Well, not defined around it, but you know what I mean. Like to talk about it, to have that
it comes
comfort
up.
level,
Yeah.
to have a comfort level with it.
Where you're not actually cringing when it
Yeah.
comes up.
It's still uncomfortable for me.
Really?
It still is,
Really?
as big as I am. And even like having sex, like I want the lights off. Yeah, it's like that uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Not necessarily uncomfortable. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. Maybe shy.
Shy. A little
Yeah.
bit shy. Just a
Still
slightly
shy.
shy.
Even if you're comfortable with somebody?
Well, when you get comfortable, you're comfortable.
Yeah.
When
In
do
the
you get
beginning,
comfortable?
you're
though?
somewhat shy. When do you get
When I'm in love.
It's like,
I fall in love.
So, Sade, are you a 90-day rule type of person, or are you just like, well, when it happens, it happens? Well, you said love.
That's the real question.
I'm
Yeah.
not quick to jump in bed.
Okay.
But if the connection is there, I am a woman and I do have needs, and you know, if shit happens, it happens. But
Yeah.
I don't put like a
Time frame.
no, and
Right.
it's not like a 3-day either, but it's not a 3 month thing either. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like if the connection is there, if I'm not connected with you, you can't even touch me.
Right.
You can't even be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
awkward.
what
Yeah.
off of me?
Yeah.
You know? So the connection has to be there, and it's very rare that I connect with people.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep that out.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's easy, go ahead.
Go ahead.
But
What was the question again?
What's the time frame? What are we looking at? 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 days, 3 hours,
Very
3 minutes?
sporadic. I mean, before my current ex, my previous ex, I knew him for a few years, and it took a while for us to get to that point, even though the attraction was already there. So I'm a little slow because I feel like I need to develop a friendship
Yeah.
to feel safe. I need
Yeah.
to be in a safe place.
Yeah.
I just have that thing about me. And so I don't really have a time frame, but it's definitely not usually quick because I don't usually ever feel like, I've never been lucky enough to meet somebody where I feel, oh my God, instantly right now, I feel safe. I don't have to wake up tomorrow and feel like this was a mistake. You know, I've never been there. So I don't know. That's how I
have
feel.
something to say. So my kid's father, and I refer back to that a lot of times because that's the longest real relationship, right? When we first met, I was that girl, like, oh, can I have some money to go to the mall? And he's like, no, I'd rather pay your rent. And when he said that, I was like, whoa, like this is different, you know? But anyways, I realized that he was a man, not to just flash no money. Anyway, so I didn't have health insurance at the time. And I said to him, you know, I want to go to the doctor, and that's important to me. I'm becoming a woman, and I need to do that regular. And the first thing he bought me was a policy, health insurance. And we got our PCP, which is our primary care.
Physician.
And, physician. And we had to wait. There was like a grace period before the insurance kicked in. And before we had sex, I wanted to get our test results. And we had to do the test, wait for the grace period, or whatever. It took some time.
Right.
But anyways, we got the results. When the results came in and we were safe, he said to me, I'm glad you made me wait, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here today.
Hey, that's a flex.
So you know what's so funny, and this is where the confusion lies, right? Because I have clients, I have multiple clients that have met I have this one specific client that met her husband in a club. And she had just broken up with her previous relationship, and it was one of those situations like to get over one man, get under another one. And she was going by that, and he ended up marrying her. So it's like, how do we know?
There's no formula.
There's no formula,
No.
right?
Yeah.
I think, I go off, me personally go off of energy. Like, I will cringe and I will like, don't even look at me like that.
Yeah.
But then there's some energies where I'm just like, you know what I mean?
I find that as women, we have this incredible, magical intuition.
Yeah.
Yes.
That we ignore.
Very much.
Lot.
Don't be ignoring it.
Like if you stop and just look back at your past relationships and think about the thoughts you had prior to that relationship just going downhill, you'll realize that you knew all along.
I wonder, do men have that intuition?
Do y'all have that?
I do, but I don't know about other men. But like I said,
because-
I read energies very easily.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
Very fast. As
Yeah.
soon as you walk in the room, I can know that your energy is not right.
But I don't know if it was you said it or you said it that women tend to ignore certain things and kind of bypass
I do.
red flags. Was
Yeah,
you that
yeah,
said that?
Yeah, I say that all the time.
And it has a lot to do with our intuition. Like we'll see something for what it is, and we don't want to hear.
I read. I always.
Tell us.
Yeah, and we just
Yeah.
blaze right past it. And then that's the same shit that come to haunt you 2 years later.
I've been saying this a long time. It's now tax season, and this tax season, the best place to get your taxes done is at Spectrum Tax Group. We specialize in doing taxes anywhere in the U.S. It's very convenient. You can do your taxes just from your mobile phone with your mobile app. You can log on to our Instagram at Spectrum Tax Group. That's SPECTRUMTAXGROUP. That's Spectrum Tax Group on Instagram. You can log on to our website at spectrumtaxgroup.net. All right? So if it's this tax season, you need a good, reliable tax person, hit us up over at Spectrum Tax Group. We'll take good care of you, all right? Women are way smarter than we are. But y'all emotions just it throws y'all for a loop. So we now are in the space where we're more level-headed and you're more acting off emotion. But if you now learn how to compartmentalize that, you're way smarter than we are. You can outsmart us by far.
Our emotions shouldn't go in vain either. Like, it's there for
It's there for a reason, of
But you know what,
course.
I
But
tend-
that's where men take advantage.
Yeah.
I
of you a
tend
lot.
to disagree with that to some extent, only because I feel like we tend to classify emotion as crying and nagging and complaining, when in reality, men are also emotional because they will stonewall you. And they'll ignore you and they'll do all these different things. And I've experienced that with men where you just at a wall, you can't get through, there's just totally emotionally cut off. And that to me is also being emotional. Because you don't know how to express your feelings.
See what the difference is with what you're talking about is a different kind of man that learned life differently.
Right.
A natural man operating in a natural man's space is different from that what you're talking about. Nowadays we have a lot of emotional men that they were raised with mom and aunties and all these things. They've learned that. My dad is a man. I'm a masculine man. That's what I learned from. So nowadays when I see men acting a certain way, it's weird to me. Because in Jamaica, like where I grew up, I see everything I see growing up is different. I never saw women smoke. I barely heard women curse. It was like every once in a while I hear a woman curse. Women dressed a certain way when I was growing up. My dad acted a certain way. My uncles, like all my dad's friends, like the conversations that they had were different. Like I come here and I see different things and I'm like, this
Are
is
you
how that
repulsed by that though? And do you feel like you'll be able to get married and settle down one day, even though naturally now it's city girl culture?
Of course, like I said, there's good people out there that operate in the same space as you.
Yeah.
You just have to find that. You can't be tricked by everything that's going on, but that's what happened now. You go online and you see all these things and you're like, oh, this is what's out there. Might as well just fit in with it. I give up.
Right.
Or you see it and you're like, all right, I give up. I don't want to do this no more. I'm just stay by myself or whatever it is. But a lot of people are influenced by that. But I know that there's good people out there. If I'm open to doing marriage or relationships, it's there. You just got to operate in the right space.
Right.
I don't know if you touched on this, but back to the conversation about that part. If you meet a woman and she's a sexual person and you guys go on a first date and she gives it up, would you judge her?
It depends.
You would judge her?
It depends.
Depends
It
on.
depends on the type of attitude that she has and the type of connection that you have with her. Because a lot of times, like, us men, we don't have a connection with you and you give it up, like, it doesn't change anything. We still don't have a connection with you. You know, we're not gonna, most men don't say no. It's just that simple, you know, but.
So it depends.
Right. Most, like I said, most men.
So if she be like, no, I never done this before, and then she just turks it off and she's like,
we get that. Speaking from a man's perspective, we get that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't usually do this, but you know, type of thing.
That's so lame.
But and we know you're lying. We know you're lying, but we just okay, cool, fine, I hear you. But
That's so. You don't get turned off by that though.
like I said, we men don't care. We're very
That would be
simple
so lame
creatures.
to me.
Yeah.
I would be like, "Ugh."
Nah, but you're a woman. That's different. Us men, we like a lot of us are weak to the flesh, like what they say.
Yeah.
And if I see you and I go out with you, in my head I already know that that's a part of the goal to get to have sex with you. Regardless of how you want to put it, as a man, if I say I like you and we're going out, part of that end goal is to have sex with you. And
No matter what.
No matter what. If that sex is not good, that breaks down a lot of things in that relationship.
If the sex is not good.
What is not good sex to you guys?
That's a sex topic, we can't get into. But trust
you
me,
can't get into that.
we can, but
Just give us three
All right,
bullet
so
points.
this is the thing. All right.
What is not good sex?
Yeah.
Right. First thing.
We
Sometimes
know.
it's not one or either or in the sexual, you know, thing. It can be the chemistry is just not there.
Okay.
Your chemistry might not match with somebody else's, and somebody might be. I've met women that were like.
Most women are not sleeping with you if there's no chemistry.
That's what I'm. But
Most
no,
women.
most women. But no, not even most.
Most women.
Not even most. Nowadays they'll sleep with anybody. But I'm saying.
Oh my.
That's what I'm learning.
I don't know that.
But
a lot of women.
I've met women in their younger ages that experience everything sexually.
Done more than you.
Everything. Like you name it, they did it. And say you're 21, 22, and you did every single thing.
I'm not there.
Let's get where I'm going with this, right?
I'm not there.
So
Hey, you gotta be
now-
around each other more.
now I meet you and there's nothing to learn with you. Like there's nothing to build with you, to explore with you. And now you become bored because I'm not there yet. You know, you become bored because that type of chemistry is not there. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect is some people are just not experiencing that area.
You know what? Try nothing new.
Question,
Yeah.
can the sex not be good if you don't have chemistry?
Yeah. What do you mean? Definitely not going to be good.
Can
Because
sex be good even if you don't have chemistry?
yeah, it can be for people who think of it on a simplistic level.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? It's very simple. It's just, all right, I'm getting a nut and go. Simple.
So I had a guy that told me.
I can't sleep with nobody unless
He
I
told
love
me
you.
that.
He's so
told me-
cute.
He told me that the girl was just laying down and look at him like this.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like stuff like that happens.
scary.
I didn't want to get into the specifics.
Died. When I tell you I died.
I'm not getting into the specifics.
She didn't
Like
know.
I've had.
She didn't move a muscle. She didn't
Listen.
finish. She was just
She
like this.
starfished
Listen,
him.
I get turned
And
off
I
real.
was just
I get
like,
turned off real
starfish.
easily.
Why?
Me, like if I'm having sex with you and you start
At one
talking,
point he was like, "Are you dead?"
Yeah.
Start talking
if you start talking to me about random shit, like yeah, it's so
about basketball during
anything. Like if it's not in that moment
It's
type
not
of thing,
related to what's
go
happening.
happening in that moment, then
Yeah.
it's a like I've had that happen, and that's a complete turn off. Like
Dead?
it's done there.
Dead?
We done after
Could it be
that.
that she's turned off? Why she even thinks?
No,
it's
No,
Sometimes
what are you
they do
talking
some dumb
about?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yes.
people do some dumb shit. Like I was turned off. I was turned off one time when the man just a sweat on me.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
Nigga, what is? Are you running a marathon? Get up!
And then like for me, like
Oh,
when I was younger, the fun thing where just like I'm gonna get a quick one and just
Yeah.
go. That was cool. But now I have to actually have a conversation with you. You have to have sense. That's number two. You have to be able to have some form of like rhythm.
And hygiene.
Hygiene is a given. Like you have to have that from the beginning. So there's a lot of things that could make sex just not good, and the connection is just not there. It's
Well,
so-
that's good to hear from a man because sometimes we just feel like they have no requirements.
Yeah.
Oh, you might think that, but some I don't know about others. I can speak for me.
Yeah.
I definitely.
But some
do.
men don't have no requirements.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Sure.
And those, I like a picky man.
I do too.
I like a picky man.
Yeah.
Picky
Make me work for it.
Picky in a sense where he want to know that you're clean. He want to know that you don't have, you're not loose. He wants to know about you. Like he wants to know who are you. I
So
think
basically,
men
the
are
man has a
picky.
list.
A man, if him see you and him just say, me like what she look, me just want to get in there. I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to have some preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have some preference, that means that if you even decide you're gonna move on from me, you're gonna pick something good out of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be anything.
Yeah.
And that's important.
I think
to
that
me.
is so disrespectful.
It is.
When you pick
think it's-
anything after me.
Yeah.
Pick anything because that goes to show you don't have any taste.
Standards.
You have no standards. You have no preference.
It makes you regret
You're
that
just filling a
choice.
gap.
Just
like-
filling the gap.
All right, since you said that, let's piggyback into the next question.
Hey.
Right? Do you actually take accountability after a failed relationship? Like,
Absolutely.
do you look at it and say, I could have done this differently?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Or I am the reason why this ended? Because a lot of,
I'm not gonna
Well,
blame
I'm not the
myself. I'm not gonna blame myself.
But a lot of women are cheating very heavy nowadays, so you never know. And then
it's
they
not
turn
always
around.
about cheating though, but at the same time, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because I've seen women cheat and then turn around and be like, "It's your fault why I did it." You know, I've seen it happen. Where it's like,
That's
"Oh,
pathetic, though.
you
that's-
didn't have time
it's
for
real
me."
immature.
That's immature.
That's pathetic. If they
It's
have
immature.
no time for you, you move on and go do what you want to do.
Right. That's
what I said.
You don't stay here and cheat.
But I will take accountability if you feel like I wasn't loyal to you. Not necessarily cheating, but like in other ways. Like
Right.
if I had said something, you know,
Yeah.
to hurt your character, whatever. But I will take account. I'll be like, damn, you know, like I really messed up.
But you have to be able to articulate that, which I think men struggle with. Men struggle with articulating what they feel, what they expect of you, and what you did to offend them. You know, and if you're the kind of man that's just gonna bulldoze through a conversation and just and not allow a real conversation to take place, then what do you expect?
But what you gotta understand is, and I say this to a lot of women, we didn't learn certain things.
Yeah, but you have to learn it. Though.
You know, the thing is, we like for me, like growing up Jamaican, I learned to be a macho man, where we communicate a certain way. We have a barrier where we don't get too deep with a conversation. You know, I learned that later how to communicate that, but because I go to therapy now, you know,
Okay, good for you.
and a lot of
High five me.
Yeah.
You gotta high five.
Good
me
for
that.
you.
That's
oh,
so good.
therapy's fun, but
That means you're a man.
no, not really. Just
No,
means
it
I'm a
does.
person.
It does. A lot of men avoid counseling because
They
they can't
feel like
even
they don't
come to
need it.
admitting there's a problem or there's something.
I don't
that
have a
needs
problem, to be honest.
Not to say there's a problem. no, but even that's okay for you to say
Right.
that. But I'm just saying some people don't realize that there's something that needs to be discussed. Maybe you can refine something. It's not necessarily
Right.
a problem.
That's all it is. It's a little sharpening. You
Yeah.
know? That's all.
That's cool.
So what do you think, Anthea, about taking accountability?
What's the whole question?
Do you take accountability after
yeah,
a
break up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to look at yourself and see what choices you made to get you to where the both of you are now.
But I think do not ever blame yourself to the point where it's like, it's my fault. So the person might be wrong, and you're still blaming yourself,
Subject
and
yourself.
then that's how you justify forgiving them for hurting you badly. That's what I would say. Don't do that part.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge both sides. You
Yeah.
can acknowledge where you messed up and where he messed up.
For sure.
Okay.
Hey everyone, we are taking a quick break to let you know about Stylist Hair Studio located right here in Tamarack, Florida. So if you're in town and if you know anyone that need any hair services, we specialize in healthy hair, hair care, extensions, cuts, colors, and pretty much everything except for braiding. So reach out to us, Stylist Hair Studios here in Tamarack, Florida.
So should women date men with kids, and should men date women with kids?
Now we did touch on that a little bit when she was saying,
I'm not gonna say
but we
no.
want to hear every.
I already said what I had to
If y'all didn't watch the first episode, part 1, go back and look
Okay,
at it.
I will say this. I have a little dog. I have a little poodle that we bought during the pandemic, but he's hyperallergenic. But my daughter's
I
allergic.
love
to,
hypoallergenic.
she's allergic to dogs, regular dogs. I ain't dating no man with a dog. That's where it's at for me.
Okay.
I'll date you if
Hypoallergenic or
you-
not, I'm not dating with a guy with a dog. Period.
A dog or kids?
No, dog, no,
Wait a minute, which one are we
baby.
going
Okay,
on?
the kids I can deal with, but the dog,
Nothing.
I'm not doing it with the dog.
Okay,
Nothing.
Key, what about the kids though?
the kids.
I'm
the
not
kids.
dealing with no man with kids anymore.
Sometimes on the
Okay.
dating app, you see them
Because
with their dog.
if I'm dealing with a man with children, he has to be a man. Meaning that he understands the necessity with establishing a relationship around your family. You understand? Because if you can't bring a woman into your life and your child's life, and she's completely separated from baby mom,
Okay.
in a sense that baby mom has never met you or know who you are, that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Maybe,
It doesn't make sense.
maybe
It makes no
sometime
sense.
it's not the right time.
Right.
It
that's
doesn't
all.
matter.
Yeah.
2 years? 2 years?
No, I
I
mean,
would say
How much time do you need past 2 years?
I'm gonna wait till
Right?
you guys finish before I say.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
It says, sometimes you come to a point where you have to realize things for what it is.
Yeah.
I get it.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you.
So prior to having a child, I was not trying to date a man with a child. I guess it depends on where you are in life. Because there was no way, before having a child, there was no way I could relate to his responsibilities. I think I did date maybe one. But we always clash because I want all the attention. I want all of it, but then I'm not, I also want you to be a good dad, know, just overall. And so that didn't work for me because I didn't understand that lifestyle at the time. Now that I have a child, I'm, of course, more open to dating a man with a child. And also, I've also dated a man or a couple men without children, me now as a mom, and it's weird. The dynamics are different, you know? You have
Yeah, it
different
is weird.
responsibilities. And they
can't
will
relate.
never, they could never understand unless they're in your shoes, unless they have a child. They could never understand the responsibilities and the time that you have split up in different directions, so, and also run the business and all that
But
stuff.
don't you
so-
find that with men who have kids, they still don't relate as much because they don't always have the kids as much as you do have your kid?
I don't necessarily
That's
talk
a
to
good-
those men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the men who are more fathers.
Fathers.
Active.
Yeah,
who,
active.
who are active in their child. If you're not active in your child's life, I'm not dealing with you.
Yeah.
I can't understand that, and I don't
Or who
trust
don't want
that.
to.
I don't trust the
support.
men like that.
Right.
So,
So you don't trust a man that has his kids on weekends?
No, that's good.
Because that's what I'm saying. If she has her kid throughout the week, sometimes some weekends her baby dad won't have the kid, so she have the kid all week.
But throughout that
But he
week,
only has the kid on every other weekend. It's a different dynamic.
right? But then
because-
throughout that week, are you calling your kids? Are
Right.
you checking
Are
in
you
on them?
speaking
Are
to
you?
them
Are you?
regular-
Are you
are
going
you
through
a
that process?
father?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't just be
Are
trying to
you
talk to
being
your
a
kids.
good person?
Right. You know.
Yeah. There's
It all boils back down to what you just said, being a person. I think you should always pay attention to the person instead of if they have kids or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing with your finances. You're not gonna date a guy based on what he earns. That's a factor, yes, but you're not gonna date him. That's your main reason. If I meet somebody with a child, I'm looking at who you are first,
Absolutely.
and who you are with that child, and who you are with
Without the child.
without the child, and then who you are with the baby father. Now
Yeah.
those things come into play. But if right off the bat you're the type of person you're still hooked on.
Bitter.
We're on a date, and all you can talk about is how trash of a baby father you have. Then
That's a
Yeah.
problem. Red
that's
flag.
what I'm saying.
problem. Yeah.
So it all depends on who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with somebody who's rational and able to this is something separate from what we have going on. Like you're not hooked on, because a lot of times, like you mentioned earlier, if the kid is young, so you're dating somebody with a kid that's a year old or 2 years old or
that's a
3 years
pretty
old.
recently ended.
It's recent, but how do you deal with that? You
And
know?
what if
How do they
it's
deal
a
with that?
situation where she is over it, but he isn't?
And that's
I've been in that.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're dating someone with a young child and you find that there's hints of emotional connection between the two, whether it's going to go somewhere or not, because sometimes it's not going nowhere. It's just a security blanket, because some men like that feeling. I have a child with her, I'm connected to her forever, she's not going nowhere.
Yeah, that's why a lot of guys do it.
And that's why a lot of guys do it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's planning on one day settling down with her. He just
They
knows
build
that there's a
fear.
comfort place there.
Yeah.
And he's not trying to get rid of that because he's with you, because he knows that if stuff don't work out with you. But you know what gave me a different perspective though? I have several friends who are single moms, and one of them specifically has a very close relationship with her baby father. And we have those separate sides conversation because she often wonders how the girlfriend of her baby daddy feels knowing that she and him are like this.
You know, I don't like the word baby daddy and baby father. I don't
It
like the
cringes
word.
me,
Why
yeah.
people don't use that word?
They don't.
Words.
They don't, but in their world,
The father of
Your
the
child.
children.
Oh, yeah.
in their world, it's a little different.
Because suppose the baby is not a baby anymore.
No, but you gotta understand, in different cultures, there's not a lot of broken up families.
That's why it's different for them.
Weird.
And even if there is, they don't highlight it. In our culture, for some reason, it is a thing.
Because it's so plentiful.
And we have baby
It's been
showers
for
with
years.
single moms, and we have, you know what I'm saying? When was the last time you saw a baby shower with a white mom?
Single.
Single, celebrating a baby
White
shower. When was the
mother.
last time you saw that? Even on social media.
We do definitely
We see it
have
all
to
the time with black
teach
women,
the children different.
you know? So it creates that mindset.
Show them different.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna get into Stretcher's Corner real quick and wrap up this episode. So we're gonna speak about this incident with. You want to talk about it?
Go ahead.
All right. Since it's your corner, I'm gonna talk about it. Though.
Go ahead.
The guy that went viral that spoke about the 7 different baby mothers that he has, right? And that he didn't bargain for none of them 7 children.
You didn't want to.
It's a effed up situation. I've heard so many different point of views from it.
Yes.
So he did tell them all that he did not want any children from the beginning, but then he was still reckless and still did what he did when the intimacy time came around and created children, a child with each of these women.
Yes.
I think both parties are at fault, to be honest, completely. Both of them made a decision to lay down with each other and created a life. And that, in that aspect, hell, what the hell can you do about it? You got to figure it out. But I would love to know from you ladies, what do you guys think about that?
You know the
It's a messed up situation.
Yeah.
It's messed up, and I watched it and I got so sick of it so quick. But
I didn't even watch the whole thing. I couldn't make it.
I couldn't make it either.
it's so sickening because at the end of the day, he's right. He's right. He's an asshole. He's a terrible
He has a
person.
point.
Yeah.
He's a terrible person, a terrible man,
Human being.
terrible human being. But he is right about how he expressed that he doesn't want kids with the women, and the women still decided to lay down. Like, they didn't take control of their own life, and that's where my heart breaks about
Yeah.
it. And we do that all the time. You know, this story repeats itself over and over and over again in our culture, in our community, as women, where we don't listen to a man. We don't listen to what he says. I don't know what it is. We don't listen
The man is
to what you
disgusting.
say.
The man is disgusting.
Yeah, he's
He
nasty.
is.
Because we
Deplorable.
all know the consequences of having sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you lay down to do it.
It's
Yeah.
either a baby or STD.
Yeah. Either one.
Or pleasure. Hey, we're gonna leave out the pleasure part of it. Let's
Those are the two consequences.
consequences.
Consequences,
Okay,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
Those are the two consequences.
Right.
And the man are gonna blame the woman.
Yeah.
No, he shouldn't. He should
Listen.
for sure take accountability, but he's just not that good person. He's not the person
Right.
to do that. He's not the bigger person. He's the
And what he
scum of
did
the earth.
say that I did not like was that he told them to get abortions, and not a lot of women are about that life. Not a lot of women. It's women that he could have slept with someone
but
that.
she laid down with him.
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
irresponsible.
But to tell somebody to
On
get an
both sides,
abortion,
yeah.
you know, tell somebody to get an abortion is a sensitive topic, especially if it's a woman that's been wanting a child and is in maybe of a certain age and finally got pregnant.
Nah, you're in a
you know what I
situ-
mean?
you're not in a
Should not-
But you
situation.
know what? I feel
Yeah.
like we don't have enough context because the question is, like one of you mentioned earlier, how long do you wait to have intimacy with
Right,
a
right.
partner. And I feel like him, you'll find out real quick.
Right.
But he told you straight up, I don't want to
It'll
have a
take
baby.
you time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but I'm still nutting in you.
That's
No, but
that's.
I don't know if he said it before he
Listen,
did it.
I'm waiting for my turn.
But I don't know. But did he say to all 7 baby moms before he did it? Or did
Right.
he say it after he did it, that I don't want a kid?
Hey man,
We don't have the
Either
context.
way, you have to evaluate and decide if that person's even worth your time. And I feel like him, that shit's on his sleeve.
listen.
You can know right
I don't
off
want no
the bat.
baby.
He wrong, but he ain't all the way wrong. Like, listen, if for instance, like if you're having sex with somebody, as a woman, I would advise you ask the right questions, make the right decisions.
Before
Because
sex.
if you're gonna sleep with somebody, no condoms, no nothing,
That's crazy.
you expect to get pregnant at that point. You get what I'm saying? So if you're not protected, if you're not, for instance, if you ask the right questions, okay, you had 6 women pregnant before, and now, bruh, like,
Me, I gonna be number 7.
what? Why are you number 6 or number
Absolutely
7?
not.
Right.
Like,
I won't even be number 2.
you're not asking the right questions. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then he said he told them like he don't want them kids. So,
It wicked bad.
but like I said, like you said about the abortion thing, I understand not everybody would want to do it, but you know what you're gonna be
Up again.
gonna
Yeah.
be dealing with if you bring that child into the world. Now it's a fatherless child.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a single mama.
I think every woman that decides to have a child, whether the man wants to be there or not, needs to decide that this is my child.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like going
And
to a sperm donor.
I think that happens sometimes even when the guy is trying to be there a lot of times because it's the culture of
Yeah.
saying I did this myself.
Right.
So that's the big. But like I said, both parties are all the way around.
So I think we're on
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
page with that.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
both
know,
parties
both
are.
It's an
parties
effed up
at fault.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess who suffers?
The kids.
The woman.
Yes, the child suffers.
The kids. The kids suffer. You know.
So the child suffers.
It might
not
be
the
his
woman.
loss in the end because all 7 might grow to be billionaires
Listen,
and great people.
I'm very
Happen.
very
Like,
passionate.
baby, you ain't got a daddy. You
Right.
got
Most
no
babies
daddy.
are not
I'm very
planned.
passionate about
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
And that's why I could never have kids with just anybody because we're going like if my kids have to get the right
Proper
Care.
care.
yes, and then we're gonna have a problem if that don't happen. That-
Most children are not planned.
Right.
They're
Right.
not.
especially in our community.
But we
yes.
should make it a normality to
Yes.
plan, you know, because you want to make sure the person you're having kids with has the same moral values and communicates with your child the way you communicate. Like when it comes down to disciplining them and different things, you want to make sure you're on the same page.
Sometimes it's not even planning. It's just knowing that if this happens, we're good with it. We're okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're having sex without a
It's never
condom,
gonna be
just know that if this happens, we're both okay with it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're wrapping it up. We get to this quote of the day for today. And today's quote is, "We accept the love we think we deserve."
So it's very simple, just like that. First of all, the biggest problem that a lot of us have is not knowing what we actually deserve. You know, like anything a person gives you, you accept it because you don't know what you deserve. Like you deserve to be treated a certain way. You deserve to be courted. You deserve to open the door for you, pull out the chair. You know, a lot of women don't even know you can't walk on a certain side of the road when you're walking with a man.
Or
I've
going
seen
up.
that too many times where I'm like, you're not supposed to walk on this side. You're supposed to walk on the other
Or
side.
going
Right.
up the stairs, down the stairs. They
Exactly.
don't know.
They don't know that. So, like I said, if you hold yourself to a high standard, a person has to treat you that way because anything less than that, you're not accepting it.
No.
So, at the end of the day, like I said, you have to know your boundaries, your standards, what you stand for. Have your list or whatever it is that you have that you won't compromise on.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I'm writing my list tonight.
I talked to you about it yesterday.
I write my
You need a
vision
list.
board, and I'm gonna get
You
on
need a
my
list.
2 knees, and I'm praying for the
Yeah.
Lord to just.
You
works.
need a
Send
list
me
so you
someone.
can check back and be like, is this what I'm getting? You know,
But let me advise you on that list. A lot of
it
times,
doesn't have to be perfect.
a person is going to come into your life and you're going to forget about that list.
Yeah.
Because they're going to introduce you to things that you didn't know you even liked.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
try to also look at
And
that
just
too.
to quote one of
That's
our
true.
quotes from our previous segment with the married women, Janae, she did say that the moment we stop looking is when it falls into our hands.
Yes, I believe in that.
Who tells you that all the time?
You.
Okay. Just want to make sure you remember.
So, take us out, Mr. Stretch.
I won't find him, he'll find me.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys.
You're the prize.
I really do appreciate you guys coming through. The conversations were really great.
Yes.
I hope to have you guys back because we're going to make this a very long season of love and relationships.
Oh, look at you. You didn't even want to go into this season.
No, I
forced
didn't.
him.
You guys could go back and watch
Yes.
the first season. We call it the semester, where we talk about health, and we brought on a chiropractor, we brought on a therapist, we brought on a surgeon, where we talked about health. We're gonna dive back into that at some point. But like I said, I want to appreciate you guys for coming through and sharing your experiences. And this is the Student to Life podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, all of us. All right?
All right.
See you guys again next week. Peace out.
Peace.